Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media here, and we're joined once again by Mark Gonzales over at First National Bullion. And many people might think that Trump has banned CBDCs as he did push forward an executive order 14178 that he claimed would end the push for CBDCs, at least at the Federal Reserve. The Fed said themselves they wouldn't do it. There's been a lot of questions on whether the Treasury will push forward their own, which goes outside of this executive order. But one thing that has been standing out, and Aaron Day, who many people might know, has said that the Stable Act and Genius Act aren't going to protect financial privacy and will actually lead to a CBDC in themselves. Of course, the U.S. House Committee has passed a stablecoin regulating Stable Act. I'm a huge fan of decentralized cryptocurrencies, especially if they're private. I've, of course, been studying the market since 2013, my friends. 2009, I got into it in 2013. No, I'm not rich. I had to use it for travel expenses over the years, unfortunately. But, I know this market very well. And what we're seeing with this is actually basically just the Clinton Foundation, the technocrats, the World Economic Forum coming in and pretending they're giving us something that's decentralized when really, in reality, it's just a CBDC. Of course, what we're dealing with in this Stable Act and this Genius Act, which was pushed forward just recently, just this month, is actually a know your customer KYC based entity, which essentially can look at anything that you do, can surveil anything that you want to spend, and could eventually restrict it if they are forcing us onto a certain wallet for this. If there's a currency crisis, this is supposed to be based on the dollar, but it's based on Tether, and Tether does not have an actual audit. It's like a bank. If you think all your money's in the bank, go and try and take out all your money. It's not going to work because, of course, the bank doesn't have all the money that the depositors have in the bank. So, of course, it's all just digits. And Tether, for example, and I talked about this many years ago, Tether actually did an audit of themselves where they said back, I believe, in 2017, they have the money. See, we have it. Look, we have all the money that we claim we have, but they didn't show any evidence of it. It was them saying that they had the money. So that isn't what you call an audit. Anyway, a lot of people are speaking out against this, and a lot of people are concerned about bank runs, the risk of bank runs, systemic bank runs coming from this stablecoin bill. Though people, complete morons like, of course, Elizabeth Warren, say it's because everyone is going to try and blow up the financial system using crypto. It's not how that works. Of course, it's supposed to be a safe haven from the economy, from the collapse of a dollar, of a world reserve currency. But I believe the biggest issue for bank runs here is that people will try to get their money out in cash at the same time. The banks don't have it. The FDIC doesn't cover it. And we have, at the same time, these bail-in regimes that they're trying to push forward with Basel III. Meanwhile, there are actually quite a few banks that are witnessing bank runs right now. Chocolate Finance has taken a $500 million hit in just 2 weeks, 40% of their firm's assets, though the chief executive and founder, Walter Deud, is adamant that it was in no way a meltdown. So, of course, we're just supposed to ignore it. Don't worry about it. Don't have any fear, because then they'll have more people taking out money. We're seeing a move into CBDCs, bank runs, and the solution, quote unquote, and it's not a real solution, of technocratic restrictions in the face of it. We're seeing the same thing in the UK under their socialist Labour government, replacing government with private corporations that are really just puppets of the state and are moving into AI, digital IDs, and all these different things. This is extremely dangerous. X is doing this as well. X just was sold by Elon Musk to XAI for $33 billion, a very interesting number. And what happened with that? Of course, with the digital ID system he's installing on there, the social credit they already have on X, and of course, the fact that they're registering it as a bank, this is all part of that agenda into that CBDC system. So we are going to go into this and more today, my friends. Before we do, I urge you to check that link below, firstnationalbullion.com/schedule-consult/. It has to be that exact link. It's in the description. You can find there a safe haven from CBDCs. Gold, silver, platinum, or palladium, get it in your hands, put it in a vault, or put it in an IRA outside of that traditional system. You can go and schedule an appointment for Mark Gonzales and a complimentary investors package. You'll get a free consultation and everything. This is incredibly important as far as ensuring your wealth versus the crisis to come. We've seen the markets. We've seen the economy. Let them know in the comments when you sign up that you found them at World Alternative Media, or WAM, WAM. Now, anyway, Mark, we are seeing this massive shift into CBDCs. The European Union says by October at the latest they have CBDCs. The UK is doing it. All but like 3 countries in the world are doing it, and now they're trying to get a tiptoe around this and say, "Hey, we're not bringing in CBDCs. We banned them. We're just bringing in a stable coin by a private corporation, much like the Fed is, to then bring in a digital currency. And don't worry, it's not a CBDC. What do you think of this?
Oh, it's bullshit. If it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. So, of course, you're going to get these PR campaigns to calm fears, right? 40% down, 500 million withdrawn, but that's okay. Nothing to see here. We're good. This is a sales pitch. And yet I remind you that back in May of last year, you had a rally in Geneva because the UN and the World Economic the WHO were trying to get their treaty to enslave you. It was shelved due to pushback, but then they got that in September with the secret measure of Pact for the Future, that and more. So they changed the name, but they included even more crap in it. So
yeah, the UN Pact for the Future, just to be clear, that's 193 countries signed on to that.
Yeah, it's the framework for the digital ID, and then you got the 1.3 billion from the EU for the digital ID. I mean, it's coming. So to say that the stablecoin is not going to be the CBDC system is completely naive. I mean, they're just finding another way to do it, and we've talked about this before. Where the fear of bank runs is as we get closer to this, you're going to have a mass exodus coming out of the banking system, either in physical cash or transfer to other entities and staying within the finance industry. But yet, when you're running around so rapidly, it will cause margin calls and it will cause defaults, and it is equivalent to a bank run. So let's go back to 2008. In 2008, things got so crazy that they blocked all international movement of money in the money markets. They shut that shit down for like a couple of days because so much funds was moving digitally. You don't have to go to the bank and get 10,000, 100,000, $250,000 out in cash or Canadian dollars, pesos, euros, whatever the case may be. You just have to move it to another institution. Now that bank that you moved it from goes below their funding requirements. If they can't get the money through the overnight lending repo market, they're fucked. Yeah. That's it. They just don't open. And then you get back to these PR campaigns. That's all this is. Read between the lines and actually see it for what it is. So 2008, what happened? You had 100,000 FDI insurance, which they don't have the money. They got less than 1 cent to cover a dollar. So that's just an illusion to make you feel good. And then they raised it to $250,000. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. We got you. Don't worry about that. 2020 happens. They didn't raise it past $250,000 because they can't overcommit. But what happened? A PR campaign for 2+ weeks. Your money's safe. Janet Yellen was the chair at that time. So I believe so she's saying everything's fine. It's nothing different. We're moving to a centralized digital bank system, like it or not. The only thing that you're going to be able to utilize outside of that system in your possession and in your control is going to be precious metals. That honestly is only going to be the only thing. And then when you take it one step further, and I mentioned this before, everybody should go watch the video, The Great Taking by David Webb. Find out how they structured this. The financial system is so intricate. If you actually sat down to learn it, one, your brain would melt. Two, it would take you a very, really long time to digest. You're going to need someone to talk to. I'm here for you to help with the explanations, but most people aren't going to take the time to actually do that. So they're not going to be prepared for what's coming. They think that, okay, Trump's got my back, Elon's got my back, everything's going to be okay. No, this system's working. They're just not announcing $1.3 billion investment into digital ID. They're not saying a deadline for the CBDC. It's all talked about of, hey, this is something we're considering. No, this is where the world is going to go. And I've been saying this for the longest time. When everybody is on the right side of the trade, those that matter, right? And the dollar system is ready to fall, they're going to stop funding it and it's going to collapse. And if you think the 1% market gyrations that you've had up and down over the last couple of days are panic mode, you just wait to see what's coming. And by that time, your insurance policy, your wealth insurance, your actual money, what if it's not there? There's only so much gold and silver. I've literally seen silver premiums go nearly 100% of market because there was no silver there. And we're not at that point now, but it doesn't mean that it can't happen. And I've talked to clients today and over the weekend, and we talk about what's going on in the UK, what's going on in Australia, what's happening in Canada. And we try to connect the dots here, and I get them to understand, change their way of thinking. And a lot of them think that they still have the hopium that everything's going to be okay. And they're not doing that here because this is what the media said, because this is what Trump said. Yeah, he said no CBDC. And then what, you got a back door. Again, Pact for the Future was put into place because the UN and the WHO didn't get their wish in May 2024, and they got it. And they did it through secret measure behind your back, and you didn't have a say.
Yeah, and I don't know of anyone else, mainstream or alternative, that are actually talking about the UN Pact for the Future, which restricts your bank account based on what you think or what you say or what your narrative is, who you support. It can bring in social credit, carbon credits, can force you via the credit card companies to then basically bow on your knees and be compliant to whatever system they put in place, to food rations, all this stuff. I don't know of a lot of people talking about it. I don't know a lot of people talking about the EU CBDC by October other than us. I don't know a lot of people talking about the digital ID, the 1.3 billion euros they just put extra into the digital IDs just a week ago. I don't know many people talking about that. I don't know about many people talking about the 145 extra banks that just closed down, or the massive increase in unrealized losses that we're seeing at these institutions, or the Basel 363 central banks signing onto bail-in regimes, which means they empty your bank account out. I don't know many people that are talking about that, honestly. And I hope that people understand that, like, look, just because we're not hearing it from across the board doesn't mean, and I don't think anyone should panic. I think people should just take proactive measures. Just because we're not hearing it from the big guys all the time because they don't want you to know about it, because who funds a lot of these major networks? Look at them, JP Morgan and Citibank and all this kind of stuff. We need to understand that just because all these big guys aren't talking about it does not mean that we should not be jumping on proactive measures, because especially when it's quiet, that's when it's most important to get prepared, because the calm before the storm, my friends. And what we witnessed in the last week or so, market meltdowns, the calls, the talks about bank runs, all these banks actually shutting their locations across the board, 20,000 of them, as we recently reported. I mean, we have to get prepared today, or else later on we are stuck in a CBDC system with digital ID, with food rations, all this stuff, which sounds crazy now, but it's happened before without the digital system, and people were able to get around it. It's called Soviet Russia. But now it's under this digital surveillance system where you can't escape. They want internet IDs. They want digital IDs. Again, X is registering itself as a bank while selling itself to an AI company which specializes in digital IDs and social credit. Again, oh, well, maybe Elon Musk is here to save us. Okay, well, he just wants to put chips in your brain attached to a Pentagon funded mesh network while he's registering the biggest social media in the world as a bank and selling it for 33 billion. That number is not random, to XAI, which is worth $80 billion, in order to collateralize all of this and basically force you into a digital system. It's so blatantly obvious. Oh, AI will destroy humanity, he says, while he's the number one person developing it. Oh, it'll destroy 41% of jobs, he says, but don't worry, you can use UBI, Universal Basic Income, one of the tenets of the World Economic Forum, while you pay your carbon tax. I mean, these are things he's really said, and it's just blatantly obvious at this point. If people want to believe, oh, he's cool because he says he's based and he says stuff about trans kids, that's a bad thing. We shouldn't have trans kids. We all agree, but we all said that 10 years ago. And the point is, he's going to be late to the party, act like a rebel, and then force you into that system, just like Bill Gates, just like Sam Altman, just like Larry Ellison, who just, again, got $500 billion in an AI deal from the Trump administration alongside mRNA cancer vaccines. This stuff is coming out. This digital system is being laid. The groundwork is being laid. Let's stop saying, well, maybe this HAL 3000 or this HAL 3000 is better than the other one. Maybe we should trust this side versus the other side. How about we just withdraw from that system of enslavement and perhaps actually look at real wealth insurances? So again, in the face of this, Mark, gold, silver, we've seen a little decrease lately, which makes a big buying opportunity, in my opinion. We've seen, of course, a major shift into major players buying up massive amounts of gold and silver. Germany is asking for the last of their gold to be taken from the U.S. and doubts that they actually have it in the vaults. Of course, the U.S. government doesn't have what they say they have. They repatriated years ago, Germany, but now they're demanding it. And this is what France tried to do before they collapsed the gold standard into the fiat currency system, where Charles de Gaulle sent battleships to New York Harbor demanding their gold, and the U.S. didn't have it. So Nixon had to pay off the debt with fake money using fiat and shifted into the new system. Mark, how important is it for people to see the historical signs and get into this real wealth insurance?
It's probably the most important time in your life to be making these decisions. And unfortunately, people with complacency bias, they think every day is going to eventually work out like the last, and they don't take action. And I also find that most people wait for something catastrophic in their life to take action, right? You have a heart attack, so you finally start working out. You find out that you develop diabetes to eating crap food, and then you start eating healthy. Don't wait until it's too late. I mean, I've been feeling calls, especially on Friday, people calling me up being like, oh my God, silver's down X, gold's down X. Well, if you liked it at nearly 3,235, you got to love it at 30 and 28.90. I mean, it's as simple as that.
Yeah. I mean, people always want to buy the top and panic buy. It's called FOMO, fear of missing out. And then again, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, FUD happens when it's down and it's a good buying opportunity. It's crazy.
Yeah, think for yourself. And again, going back to that complacency bias, I mean, humans in general, we've been brainwashed into thinking that we should be just emotional creatures on the yin and yang of what the government yin and yangs us. So don't wait for this thing to start moving back up. Start buying at these lows, because we've done plenty of videos on this. And if you'd like a consultation, give me a call. If you'd like to have an explanation of how this actually works and how it pertains to you, I don't mind taking the time, connected dots. I'm actually very, very good at that. I enjoy doing that. I want everybody in the lifeboat. So people buy usually at the tops because they wait for it to go up, and then they have that fear of missing out. But then when it pulls back, they're like justifying maybe why they did or didn't buy, and then they sell at the bottom because their advisors say, "Hey, look, silver's down 9%. You need to get out of this and get into the stock." Everything's an illusion based on the debt-based dollar system, and the warning signs are there that we're moving to a new process, digital CBDC. That's why we're going through Doge. That's why we're looking to audit the Federal Reserve, or not the Federal Reserve, to audit the gold reserves. That's why Germany is really demanding its gold back. But then Germany also said, okay, well, we want our gold back, but don't worry, we think it's safe. No, again, it's a sales pitch. All right. This is all to keep you calm, complacent, and docile until a point in the future, which probably comes within a matter of months to a year. When you look at the ECB, what they've been doing, now you look at these stablecoin acts that we're looking to be pushing through. If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, is probably a duck. Get prepared.
Yeah, absolutely. Your chance, your opportunity is in front of you. It's up to you, all of you, to take that responsibility seriously and go and actually check that link in the description. Again, this isn't about advertising. It's about giving solutions. We want people to see that which is in front of them and actually take action today. We had recently talked about the stock market chaos and everything, and all this stuff is correlating. At the same time, we're seeing, the collapse of the banking system, the FDIC not being able to cover the costs of that which people have in the bank. If your money's in the bank, it's not yours, it's the bank's. If your money's always in the banks via digital transactions and legal tender laws, with the CBDC, it's never your money, it's always the bank's, and you are essentially enslaved to the banking system and the government. They'll never be able to do anything. If you want to access that which you depend on the most, you must comply with them. Do not fall into that system. I urge people to go and check out firstnationalbullion.com/schedule-consult/ and buy physical gold and silver today. There's platinum and palladium as well. You can hold it in your hands, put it in a vault, put it in an IRA outside of that traditional IRA. As I always say, again, this is go time to get out of that traditional system. That traditional money market system is not where you want to be right now. Again, in my opinion, do your own due diligence. But I hope you do a lot of due diligence through us, because we've been talking about this for a long time and we've been right, unfortunately. Over there, you can schedule an appointment for a free consultation with Mark Gonzales and a complimentary investors package. Let him know in the comments of the forum when you sign up that you found him at World Alternative Media, or WAM, WAM. I highly recommend people get on board today. And again, if you've signed up before, and make sure to check your junk mail folder and everything, because there have been some people that Mark tried to get a hold of that he could not. And of course, he emailed, called, and wasn't able to get a hold of people. So again, make sure to keep an eye on that stuff and answer calls if you see one coming in from an unknown number, because he wants to make sure that you guys get into this and make sure you are not left in the dust when all the financial system, all the dominoes fall. So again, I appreciate everyone watching. Thank you, Mark, as always, for going into all this with us. And until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson and Mark Gonzales signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.